All right, we got to bring some positivity back to the silver and gold space, guys. I've been noticing, just looking at some of my comments, that people are a little bit worried about the outlook of silver, particularly. But as I've been saying over the course of the last couple of weeks, I'm actually a little bit more bullish, which contradicts where a lot of people may view the markets currently. Now, I want to start this video off with a longer term view, and then I want to end with a more shorter term view. And both pretty much align. And what that view is essentially higher prices. Now, before I get into that, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Helps the channel out, helps to get more people into gold and silver, you joining the channel. And also, please hit that like button, helps to get this content out to more and more people. So here we have this article by Jim Wyckoff on Kitco stating, gold, silver, still long-term bullish. Now, for him to say still long-term bullish, I'm sure he's also seeing some of the negative comments out there on the space. But again, I don't think we're out of the water yet as far as this bull run. So let's see what he has to say. See on the monthly continuation chart for nearby COMEX gold futures that prices are still in a long-term uptrend and not too far below the record high of $2,063 basis nearby futures hit in August of 2020. In fact, a bull flag pattern has developed on the monthly gold chart. The long-term measuring implications for this bull flag suggest an upside price target of around 2,500 in the coming months or a bit longer. Now I'm going to stop right there. This is Jim's view. This isn't necessarily my view. I do think we should expect to see higher prices. As far as 2,500, I'm not so sure. But what I will say, and this is the thesis to my video here, is that gold will lead the front and silver will follow suit afterwards. So for Jim to also feel bullish on gold, obviously there's got to be some bullishness for silver. So let's go down to the silver section here and see what he has to say. The monthly COMEX silver futures chart remains in an overall longer-term bullish technical posture as long as prices stay above strong longer-term chart support at the $21 area. The next upside price objective for the silver bulls is to push prices above longer-term chart resistance at this year's high of $30.21. A move above this year's high would open the door to much bigger upside price potential. Now, this is something that we all know, obviously, but will we get to that level? Now, if we look at today and what we've been seeing in prices, you might be saying, well, hey, look, I mean, you can actually see it here on the ticker. Gold at 1782, silver at 2276. These are lower than what we should, or I shouldn't say should, but this is lower than what we would expect where we should be currently, which is unfortunate, which is also why we're seeing a lot of, some negativity here in the space regarding silver and for gold. Now, you may be saying, well, why, TJ, are you so bullish on gold and silver, even in the near term? Well, generally, I've stated my view on stagflation. I do think that we are currently in a lower growth, higher inflationary time period, and I do think it's more of a shorter run spurt. I do think that we're going to see a lot of that inflationary pressure really hit November and in December. Then we'll start to see still higher levels of rate of changes of inflation, but then by the middle of 2022, we'll start to see a taper, though I do think 2022 will average around, as some have even said, a 3 to 4% rate of change of inflation. Price levels will remain elevated. Please believe that price levels will remain elevated. Now, that aside, I do think money supply will be an issue. I do think GLD volumes will likely increase as we start to see more flows entering into gold. Now, why do I think all of these things? Well, first, let's start with some of the inputs that I have for my models, and this will play a role for silver. Now, silver, again, as gold goes, so will silver. So I want to see what will happen with gold first. Now, this is my view currently based on my own proprietary model here that you will have access to actually very soon. CPI, I do think it'll be higher for November. I do think we'll still have negative around this level, maybe like -1 or so for real yields. M2, money supply, I do think it will increase to about this level. I do think we will have higher GLD volumes. We'll just have to see as we move ahead. And I do think we'll start to see higher GLD volumes as we see lower prices in Bitcoin. And I'll explain my thesis as to why. And I do think we'll see lower dollar futures. This is all near term. When I say lower dollar futures and lower Bitcoin, this is more of a near term thing. Now, why do I think that'll happen in the near term? Well, let's take a look at what's going on right now in Bitcoin and in the dollar. So currently the DXY is at $96 or not dollars, but 96.36, and it is beginning to come down from its highs. And it looks like we're experiencing some mean reversion here in the dollar. Let's go down to Bitcoin and see what's going on with our favorite crypto here. And as that is developing, I also have it here, which I'll show you here as well. Here's Bitcoin as well. And as you can see, we've pretty much been in a downtrend. And one of the things with Bitcoin at the moment is that we're actually seeing, and I'm going to pull it up here, the development of and I'm not going to say a death cross. This isn't a death cross. If it crosses below the 253, then for sure. But in the near term, we should be expecting to see some more bearish activity coming from Bitcoin as the 20-day crosses below the 60-day. So in my view, I do expect to see some more price pressures against Bitcoin. And as we know, especially if you've seen me use my model a couple of times before in the past, when Bitcoin prices are lower, it'll raise the band, the lower limits, upper limits, and central limits of my forecasting expectations. So say, for example, I'm just going to plug this in here. We're at 58,000, but let's see what happens, all things being equal. If I bring this down to 50,000, take a look here. We're at 1734, 1841, 1948. Let's see what happens when I make it 50,000. Well, the lower limit goes up to 1773, central limit 1881, upper limit 1988. Again, all things being equal. But remember, currently we're at 58,000. So this is the general forecast that we should be seeing, and around 1841 is the central limit. Currently, we're between that with the lower limit and central limit. But again, once we start to see this really develop, i.e. price pressures really hitting Bitcoin and pressures against the DXY, because we're also seeing something similar here with the DXY, with it kind of trending down a little bit. I do think we should expect to see gold rise, and I do think we should expect to see silver rise after that fact. Now, that is my thesis as far as why I'm pretty bullish in the near term, and generally I'm pretty bullish in the long term. But as far as the near term, especially if we include seasonality, with December being usually a really good month for gold and precious metals, I feel pretty good about precious metals moving into the month of December. But that's just my view. Let me know what you think. Please hit that subscribe button and please hit that like button. Thanks again. It's been TJ.